The Farewell is the debut film of director Lulu Wang, and man, what a debut film it is. It's rare that the first feature from a director reaches such heights of authenticity and sincerity. With this film, Lulu Wang tells the story of a woman named Billy, who discovers that her grandma has terminal cancer, and that her family is hiding that fact from her grandmother. Instead of telling her that she has cancer, they keep her in the dark and plan a wedding, so they can have an excuse to see her without her being suspicious. The main character Billy very much disagrees with this lie, and wants to tell her grandmother her fate. At the heart of the story is a clash of cultures, and how each of these cultures deal with death and grief. Billy is a stand-in for American culture, and her family in the East is a stand-in for Chinese culture. The clash is often very insightful and funny. As Billy hasn't been fully entrenched in Chinese culture for a while, she seems to be stuck in the middle of where she came from and where she was raised. This is something that is a common struggle among Chinese, Japanese, and Mexican Americans. The story uses this cultural disconnect to further the main character's struggle to keep the secret, which she views as absurd and unreasonable, as she just wants to say a final goodbye to her grandma, and let her know that this might be the last time that they see each other, but her family would much rather keep her in the dark so she won't worry and fear about her upcoming mortality. The lead performance by Awkwafina has all her signature quirks, but it's also more restrained as this is a more serious turn for her, and she does a pretty solid job as the lead. This might be the movie that finally gets her more lead roles. This is more of an ensemble movie, so of course it's more important that all the actors do really well, and for the most part they all do pretty great. This is one of the few times where a family in a film really feels genuine. The family feels like they have a connection to each other that spans decades, which is really hard to achieve. All their performances complement each other so well. None of those performances feel out of place or overstep one another, although the best performance of the bunch clearly comes from the woman who plays the grandmother. She's everyone's ideal grandma. She's funny, warm, and affectionate. There is a sincerity to her actions that is insanely hard to replicate in a performance. Director Lulu Wang packs most of her frames with an insane amount of visual information and character moments, whether it's one character grabbing another character's hand to comfort them, or showing the contrast of each character's emotions. The best aspect of the film is the writing, as it feels incredibly personal and does a great job at showing the differences in culture without making the viewer feel like they're watching a PBS special where a host is constantly explaining the differences in culture to us. It's also surprisingly funny. The grave scene and the wedding drinking game scene are the funniest scenes of the year. The Farewell has a ton of emotional moments, and none of them feel forced. The ending especially is quite the tearjerker. This film could have easily been an extremely bland TV movie, but due to some confident direction, great performances, and smart writing, The Farewell ends up being one of the best films of the year. A few issues I have with the film are the special effects shot at the end that looks incredibly fake, and the pacing, but that doesn't stop me from recommending The Farewell, as it's my favorite movie of the year so far. Check it out when you can.